everyone wants to be a wrestler. I want to be a superstar. So when I go to these shows, honestly, selfishly, I don't want to go early to teach kids how to chain wrestle. I'd rather go to the gym. We're getting a good meal in, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm on the road so often that, my time on the road is basically my life. In that environment, there's only so many things you can control, right? But when you're an independent wrestler, you can control everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all you champions out there, welcome back to another awesome, very special edition of the Podcast of Champions. Guys, we got a very special guest tonight. I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited.
Can't wait.
Because we have a man that needs no introduction, but I'm going to give one to him anyway. And not only that, but one that I actually found that's pretty darn epic that I'm going to read word for word. So, a powerhouse with a passion for pro wrestling dating back to his childhood on Long Island, New York, Mr. Matt Cardona is a multi-time champion who changed the game more than once in his already illustrious career. He took his destiny into his own hands, crowning himself internet champion on his highly popular YouTube show that elevated his status in the eyes of fans around the world. Now he's doing it again in the podcast world, reaching millions of major marks with the Major Wrestling Figure podcast alongside longtime friend and former tag team partner Brian Myers. He has also taken over the independent wrestling scene and has become the indie god and deathmatch king. No matter the time, no matter the place, Matt Cardona is still here and always ready. Whether you know him as WWE's Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona, he has single-handedly redefined the indies the past 4 years, and we are very excited to introduce and welcome Mr. Matt Cardona to the podcast.
Oh, man, thank you. What an intro. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. I know that you are a busy man. What you said, where were you at this past weekend?
I had a show in New York. It was kind of a wrestling show. It's called The Last Match. It's this musical/wrestling project I'm involved with. Right now, I'm just the co-producer. I was playing a role a couple of years ago when they were trying to get it picked up. And now I'm too busy to be on the road. I can't be on the road wrestling and doing that. So I had to pick one. And right now, wrestling is my main priority. So I'm still involved because I believe in the project. And I did a little cameo, if you will, this past Friday.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, you're a busy man. Every time that I see you on socials, you're doing something in a different town, and it's not necessarily only wrestling, which is very intriguing, and is one of the reasons that we are very, very proud to announce that we have you for a seminar on June 6th. It's a huge get for us. I know that you aren't one to necessarily do seminars. And the reason why we wanted you is because you have just taken the indie wrestling scene and basically pop culture by storm the past 4 years since you have been away from the WWE. So if you wouldn't mind, man, just quickly walk us through a quick synopsis of the last 4 years since you've been with WWE.
Well, I mean, let me just say, this is my first seminar, so it's going to be big. It might be my last seminar. We'll find out. But when I got released from WWE, this was April 15th, 2020. The pandemic just happened. A bunch of us got cut, and everyone was in a different position when they got released. But for me, I needed it. Not that I was kind of wanted it at that point. My contract was coming up. I had been renegotiating with them for the past year or so. I didn't know if I wanted to stay, didn't know if I wanted to go. AEW was just starting up. I knew there were other options. I'd been there for so long. And then when the decision was ultimately made for me, oh man, just a weight was lifted off my shoulders. But like I said, it was the pandemic. The pandemic just started. There was not indie wrestling going on. And if there was, it was social distancing, wearing masks. And I didn't want to, re-debut in that kind of environment. So I took a couple months off. And then when the world opened back up, I said, okay, well, here it is. We gotta we got to be all in. I say this all the time. You can't be half pregnant. You gotta go for it. And that's what I did. I just jumped. At first I dipped my toe in the independents. Then I did a cannonball the next week. I'm like, we got to do this, right? We got to figure this out. And it's the GCW death match I had with Nick Gage. That's what really started, that's what started the whole indie god death match king thing. I was approached to do this match. Nick Gage at the time, death match wrestler. He was the death match king. He was just featured on Dark Side of the Ring. And my knee jerk reaction to this match was absolutely not. I'm not wrestling this drug addict criminal who almost killed David Arquette. Like, no way. I turned it down. And then I took a step back and said, wait a minute. People are going to be talking about this. People are going to want to see Nick Gage carve up Zack Ryder with a pizza cutter. So I decided to do it, and I could not anticipate the buzz it would create. It was unbelievable. That independent wrestling show, because of, the streaming services and the internet, stuff like that. It trended online over the UFC pay-per-view that night and over the Olympics. And I knew we had something there, and that's what I needed for my career, because I knew I needed a change. I didn't just want to be Zack Ryder with a different name, but you can't just turn heel on the indies. You can't just switch a character. There needs to be something organic behind it. And the fans in Atlantic City, New Jersey that night, throwing bottles at me, throwing cans at me. There was a pizza cutter throwing at me, flipping me off, putting middle fingers in my face. That is what I needed for my career. And I think that night I put that company GCW on the map, but they also put Matt Cardona on the map. And the past 4 years has just been capitalizing on that, chasing the buzz. And, this business is very, what have you done for me lately? It doesn't matter that I was the Intercontinental Champion. It doesn't matter as the WWE United States Champion. It matters what I'm doing now, what I did last weekend. So that's the challenge, right? Is you get some buzz, you ride the wave, ride the momentum. Okay, well, now what? You got to keep chasing it, and you got to keep capitalizing on it. And the always ready nickname, it's not just a gimmick. It's not just a catchphrase. It's the way I've lived my whole career. If you get an opportunity, you better be ready for it.
Yeah, and I think that's great that you were able to recognize that, and you were able to recognize kind of like what was maybe missing in the independent scene, and where you could have taken advantage of that. What do you think was like the biggest learning lesson for you in the past 4 years as you've been making your way around the indies?
I think I've realized that people aren't capitalizing on the indies as much as they should be or could be. I was in the WWE bubble basically my whole career, my whole adult life, right? But I grew up being a dedicated, diehard wrestling fan, right? So when I got to the independents, I saw like guys weren't selling merch correctly, some not even at all. I couldn't believe it. When I'm going to these shows and you have the opportunity to set up your own table with your own merchandise that you bring and keep all that money, and then some people don't do it, and some people don't want to make the connection with the audience. Like, that's what it's all about, because everyone can do moves these days, right? But unless you have a connection with the audience, whether they love you or hate you, in my opinion, you have nothing. So this, the meet and greet before the show, to me, it's more important than the show. It's more important than the match. I bring like a portable mall with me full of everything I could think of, for all different price points. And yes, it's about making money, but also, like I said, making a connection with that fan who hopefully becomes a lifelong fan.
Yeah, no, that's great. And that's one of the reasons, we wanted to get you for a seminar, because of all of your stuff that you do outside of the ring and all of the marketing with that. And I know that, we inquired, I reached out to you earlier in the year about doing a seminar, but you respectfully declined, said that you're not one to necessarily do a seminar. What has changed since then? What finally made you decide to kind of dip your toe in the seminar water, so to speak?
I really don't have anything against seminars. I think they're very valuable. And before I made it to WWE, I definitely did a bunch too. I went to seminars, but for me, my what I can bring to somebody is the extra stuff, right? I just don't have the passion to teach someone, how to do a hammerlock, and listen, that stuff's important. I'm not saying it's not, but for me, I'd rather teach people how to really get over, not just get over, but stay over, how to survive, right? I mean, this wrestling business will chew you up and spit you out, but you need to be able to overcome that and to rise from the ashes and to stick around and to persevere. And I think I'm an example of that. I've done that so many times in my career. There's so many times in my career that I've been counted out, not just by quote unquote office, not just by fans, but sometimes even myself. Sometimes I was down and I counted myself out. But if you don't quit, this run, this dream is not over. So that's what I tell young talent who ask me for advice at these shows. I say it's not over until you quit. Everyone has a different path, everyone has a different journey. There's no rule book, and if there is, there's an exception to every rule. So I thought maybe this is a time to kind of see if there's something here to expressing other ways to be successful in the business. Because listen, like I said, having a good match and being a good wrestler is very important. But now all these athletes, they're incredible. There's so many great athletes out there. But how many people are doing the extra? The posting on the social media, they're getting themselves over, they're getting themselves noticed. I think that's where a lot of people are lacking.
I agree. And I know you touched on it a little bit. You had said that you have done some seminars in the past, before you had gotten to WWE. What are some of your past experience that maybe kind of held you back from, doing seminars, or any type of negative experiences that you've had with seminars? Because that's something that I talk about a lot, with the students here, about just kind of being open-minded, but also being prepared, because it might not be all that's cracked up to be. So what are some of the experiences that you've had?
Listen, I certainly don't want to bash seminars, because A, I'm about to do one, and B, you guys do them as well. But, I always, the ones that I did before, and, I don't need someone teaching me how to do a schoolboy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll never forget Joey Mercury. This is probably like 2004, 2005. I'm paying this money. He's teaching me how to do a schoolboy. I'm like, do I really need to know this? Like a schoolboy? Come on. Like and yes, it's that stuff. The little details are important, but I'm focused on the bigger picture. Like everyone wants to be a wrestler. I want to be a superstar. So when I go to these shows, honestly, selfishly, I don't want to go early to teach kids how to chain wrestle. I'd rather go to the gym. We're getting a meal in, what I'm saying? Because I'm on the road so often that, my time on the road is basically my life. So I need to focus on myself selfishly, because this, while, I'm released from WWE, this is not my give back to the business era. And I don't care if that sounds selfish. I'm not trying to pass the torch to anybody. I'm trying to light a new one for myself. But along the way, if I can help some people, so be it. But that's not my goal at this time. I'm not trying to give back to anybody. But if it happens, sure. But to me, like this, I'm at this pivotal point in my career where, listen, I'm not getting any younger, right? I'm not getting younger. But to see guys like Adam Copeland, Jericho, Christian at the top of their game at like 50 years old, and I just turned 39, so I got some time. But for me, like the focus is on me, and I only have so much like bandwidth, you know what I'm saying? So much that I could focus on, and I need to be selfish and focus on myself, just like every wrestler out there needs to focus on them.
Yeah. And I love, like, this is music to my ears, because I love that you are going to come here for this seminar and focus on things that are outside of the ring. For those that don't know, we focus on things that are outside of the ring a lot here at the HOC, mainly because I'm a corporate marketer. So I teach the marketing side. Here we have a lot of social media classes, a lot of branding, a lot of how you want to be perceived online, all of that. So I think it's been amazing to watch you, Matt, go from Zack Ryder to Matt Cardona, and how you've completely rebranded yourself. And it's not just worked, but it's seriously worked. So I'm assuming, you've led into it a little bit. So if you can elaborate, what can they expect from the marketing side from you when you come for the seminar on June 6th?
See, like I said, I'm not trying to give back, but I will. Like, I'm not trying to keep these secrets from anybody. I tweet about it all the time. I put YouTube's video out all the time. Like, I want competition. I'm not trying to, be a gatekeeper here. So if anybody has any question, I don't care what it is. I'll be authentic. I'll be transparent. I'll answer, and I'll try to give the best advice possible, because really, quite frankly, you know, I'm just begging for some competition on the indies. I'm begging for it. All these guys and girls who are leaving AEW or WWE. Okay, like, part of me is like, well, damn, there's some competition. But the other part of me is like, thank God, because for so long it was just too damn easy. And I need some pressure on me. I work best under pressure. So if there's people, like Nick Nemeth or Ali or now Ethan Page out there on the indies trying to take my spot, come get it, because it just lights a fire under my ass even more.
All right, man. So Thursday, June 6th, 6:00, you'll be here at the HOC for your first ever seminar. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but what should attendees expect? Is it going to be
learning how to do a hammerlock?
Is it hammerlocks and schoolboys? I'm guessing no.
No.
But just a little sneak preview of what attendees can expect.
I mean, I think this is going to be interesting for me too, right? Because, and maybe this is something that I really do enjoy, but I want to be an open book. Like I said, I'm not a gatekeeper. If you have any questions, and it can be ring related too, it certainly can. I hate to be the old timer, who says less is more and all this stuff, but it really is. And the reason I've been, part of the reason I've been so successful in the indies is because I'm doing stuff that other people are refusing to do, like interact with the audience or cut a promo. Listen, I get it. It's 2024. You got to do the flashy move, especially with the internet. You need something to trend. You need to get noticed. I totally understand that. But if you could do all these cool moves, but then incorporate how to sell merch properly, how to interact with the audience, how to do social media. And listen, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. And I learn from every opponent I have, which I think is very important. Someone who's a rookie, someone who's been wrestling longer than me, I'm always trying to pick up something from the matches. So in this seminar, yes, you can ask me about merchandise advice, but you can certainly ask me about stuff in the ring. There's no formula here. Everything can be asked. Nothing is off limits. I think that's what's so fun about it. And I think what's also going to be fun about it is because I think I might enjoy this as well. I think I'm probably going to learn something from this seminar too, from just hearing these questions, maybe thinking in a different way when I try to provide that answer. I think the biggest part that people are going to get out of this is that you have to control what you can control, right? But we're not in WWE. We're not in AEW. In that environment, there's only so many things you can control, right? But when you're an independent wrestler, you can control everything. And, if you don't want to be on social media today, well, tough shit. Sorry about my language, because in AEW, WWE, they'll probably tweet about you. Hundreds of thousands of people might see it, but out of sight, out of mind. If you're not tweeting, posting, whether it be YouTube videos, TikToks, and you guys do a great job on your social media. It's such a professional page. You look at this place, it looks like the school's been open for 20 years. The way, even just looking at it now, all the branding, right? Everything looks great. So you guys obviously know what you're doing, and the students there are in good hands. But if you come to the seminar and you even get one piece of vital information, I think that will be totally worth it. And hopefully you'll get way more than that. But even like when I go to these shows and I do these matches, there's just one thing that I can learn and gain extra knowledge about, I consider it a win. So like I said, I'm going to be an open book. Any questions, whether it be about, my career, WWE, the indies, merchandise, t-shirts, social media, it doesn't matter. I'll be ready to answer it. And it's a little intimidating because even like this interview, I don't want to know the questions. I don't want to be prepared. I don't want to think about it. I want it to be so organic and so just authentic. And I think that's what's going to be the best part about this seminar is that I'm not coming in with like, all right, guys, here. I'm not going to get like a chalkboard and make all these notes. I'm just going to sit there and whatever you want to ask, ask it, and I'll answer it to the best of my abilities. And who knows, maybe we will get in the ring. I don't know what's going to happen, and that's the fun part about it, is that this always ready. I'm always ready for this seminar, and I'm always ready for these questions, and I can't wait to see who comes, and whether it be someone with a lot of experience or zero experience. No question is a dumb question, and I'll answer anything.
Well, I'm sold. I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited for Thursday, June 6th. Guys, there are still tickets available. Go ahead and head over to our website and apply there. But until then, Mr. Matt, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about the seminar and let us pick your brain a little bit. Until then, what's the best way for people to reach you, to interact with you, and anything else you want to promote right now?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm all on social media at the Matt Cardona, and in this interview, I'm not going to give away all the secrets to the seminar either, right? It's just definitely going to be something that I don't think has ever really been done before, and that's what kind of that's the reason why I caved, and I'm like, what, let's give this a try, because I can't think of anybody who's done something like this, because so many people are so protective of what they have and what they know and what they don't want anybody else to know. But like I said, I'm an open book, and I'm begging for people to step up. I'm begging for competition, because it drives me, it motivates me, it makes me even better, it makes me work harder. So I think we're all going to learn here. I think we're all going to have fun here. Just any question, like I said, is off limits, and I hope you guys prepare them. I'm not going to prepare any answers, and I hope some of you guys throw me off and keep me on my toes, because that's the best, and I think that's how we all will learn and grow.
Awesome, man. Well, super excited. Once again, man, I really appreciate you taking the time, and appreciate all you guys watching the podcast. Thursday, June 6th, hopefully you will see us in person here at the HOC. But until then, Mr. Cardona, thank you so much. We're looking forward to seeing you. And all you champions out there, be great, be excellent, show love, and go make a difference. Go mad.
Thanks, guys.